My name is Kelley Shortsleeve, and I am the Director of School Nutrition in Lamoille County. I'm the director for Lamoille North School District. We have 6 schools and approximately 1,800 students. Um, we currently are enrolled in pretty much every program we can be. So we're enrolled in the school breakfast program, the National School Lunch Program, fresh fruit and vegetable for our elementary schools, and the children and adult care food program for our after school programs. Our schools here in Lamoille North are CEP eligible. However, Vermont has universal school meals. And we've been enjoying that for a few years now where, we, even though we're CEP, we at least have the universal school meals as the overrider. And it is, currently on the chopping block, and I'm one of the larger advocates to keep universal school meals for our kids. There's a group of us from School Nutrition Association that meet, and we are making big pushes to make it known that this program needs to stay and should, not just in Vermont, but everywhere. So my passion for school meals started personally about 13 years ago. I've been in school nutrition for 12 of those 13 years. And it was when my son started school. So I think I started, much like everybody else. Your kids get into the school system, and I really enjoyed cooking, and I had gone to tech centers and some culinary arts programs. So culinary skill was my background. But, I really got involved when my kids started at school. And I started as, just a dishwasher in the cafeteria and slowly worked my way up to, the head chef, and then a manager and assistant director, and now the director of the district. So a lot of movement in our district. But it's an amazing district with a lot of support for all of our movements and things that we're doing with school nutrition. And they're just as passionate as we are, which is kind of leading us to our breakfast stuff. So our breakfast counts were not the best at the beginning of this school year. So this is my first year as director. And so we made a massive push to make changes with our numbers for breakfast. And one of those pushes was making things from scratch. And we are now pretty much all scratch cooking. There's very little that we get that is processed or packaged. And breakfast was one of the easiest places for us to implement that. And so we started with our muffins. So our homemade muffins are made from scratch. The recipe is, fairly simple to follow, but it also can be utilized in other ways. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in a muffin tin. And oftentimes we'll make the batter and we'll put it in a bread loaf pan instead and slice it up into bread. And we have a few pictures of that. And that's been one of our number one things, is it's so versatile. You don't have to use it in just one area. The other thing that we do is really engaging students into the process of meal planning and menu planning. So we have started student councils and student committee meetings once a month, where chefs from each school will meet with these students and really just get their opinion and their feelings towards something that we're trying, whether that be taste testing a new recipe, a new muffin flavor, like maybe peach. We did peach recently, and it was okay, but it was something some students requested, but it ended up not being a huge hit. And I love the fact that we can really engage the students in that process. The students have been, I think, more accepting to the scratch cooking that we're doing across breakfast, because they have a voice and they have the ability to say, hey, we really want to try this. Can you find a recipe and make it work? Or they're part of the process and saying, hey, we wanted more berries in that muffin. So the student engagement has really been successful. We'll hand out samples of the muffins or other items in our lobbies as kids are coming into school, which kind of leads back into that passion of just, I want to make sure that kids are fed every day and that they're eating and having full bellies to start their day, to get their education done, and be able to focus. So our recipe is something that students did have a little bit of say in, and they helped us kind of create a simpler version of a muffin recipe. And I already said that we can use it in a bread loaf pan as well as the cups, so it can be both. Um, but it's fairly simple to follow. And so you just start by putting all of your dry ingredients, mix them together in one bowl. And then in another bowl, usually we use a mixer because our hands get tired. You start with your wet ingredients in the mixer. And then you'll add in the dry bowl into the mixer of wet ingredients. And then you add in, and I say our recipe says blueberries, but it's really like your fruit of choice. We've done raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. We did peaches. I think we tried mango. So we've tried like a lot of different fruit. And if you add enough fruit in it, it adds to the compliance of the fruit for breakfast. Um, sometimes we over process the berries, like we have Valentine's Day coming up and we'll do strawberry muffins, but we intentionally over process the batter, and that will bleed the strawberry juices throughout the batter, and so it's red for Valentine's Day. And it's something the kids get all excited about when they see, but it really does help make a difference for students eating every day. When you just do those little things, is simply like over mixing your batter on purpose, and the kids get excited about it. So that's always really great to see. Our participation here at Lamoille North when I started was really low for breakfast, especially in the middle and high school, which is, I think that's kind of a battle across the country. It's not like just us. It's middle and high school kids just don't really want to eat breakfast. So the student engagement in the lobbies was really helpful. We started, or I'll say when I started as director this year, our breakfast participation at the middle and high school was low. I'd say not even 10% some days, depending on what items we were serving. So by engaging the students and doing taste test samples in the lobbies, meeting with student councils, going to scratch cooking, and incorporating the students into the recipe making, we have now almost tripled our breakfast numbers. And I truly believe that the student engagement piece was a large piece of that. When the students have buy-in because they feel like they had a say in what they were getting, it overnight made a difference. So instead of, having 100 kids eating here at the high school, we're now almost at 400, which is really nice. But it definitely makes a difference when you engage the students into the process. And the numbers back that up. I started a junior Iron Chef club here locally. We have Junior Iron Chef Vermont, where you can take a group of students after school and you basically teach them culinary skills. And ultimately, they create a recipe that you take to competition. And that really kickstarted my student engagement piece. And I think I didn't quite understand just how much the students had to say until I started Junior Iron Chef. That program is what made me understand that these students are fully capable of knowing what they like and don't like, and the reasonable requests that they're making. And I'm still doing it. This is my third year, and I would never turn it down for anything. Giving the students an opportunity to learn a skill, but then also have that voice is really important to me. And it kind of carried through into the district now that I'm in this role. I just kind of kept on with that, like, you have an opinion and that's okay, and it's okay, and my door's open and come to me anytime. So that's been, yeah, I think one of the more enjoyable parts of my position right now is just working with the students and hearing what they have to say about us and as a team. And I think it's good for the team to hear as well that the students are enjoying the muffins and they're enjoying the breakfast initiative that we're kind of pushing for, and the scratch cooking, and they appreciate the effort that our crew is putting in. And I think that's really where it's at. And that's where we get the most out of it, is that, just feeling appreciated by the students is huge. Not just for me, but for everybody on the team. We actually received an email from a student here at the high school this week, where the student had just reached out of nowhere and let us know that she loved the muffins that we'd been making and that they were home style cooked and they felt like her mom's recipe. Um, and that she really appreciated our efforts in making more home style cooking meals. And so I shared that with our team and just, I think we all were kind of moved by that and that, what seems like sometimes a lot of extra effort on our part is actually being appreciated by the student body. Um, you don't hear it all the time, but when you do, it just makes everything that you just put into it worth it. Um, and we do hear from a lot of staff like, oh, the kids said that's really good today. And then the staff will even want to come in and try it because the kids were talking about it in the hallways. And I think just getting students talking and getting that buy-in is where it starts. And when you can get kind of that snowball going, it just keeps growing on its own. And it's been a really fun and enjoyable experience going to mostly scratch cooking. And it really all started with our muffins.